That sigh is not because I have to read. It's because they said everything I had to say. I knew I should have went first. I knew I should have went first. However, that's typical Tara, too. Over 10 years ago, when I met her as an explorer, when she walked into the office, she was had a quiet confidence about her. She introduced herself. I was a corporal at the time. I said, I'm Corporal Ferrer. I run the Explorer program. She stood up, shook my hand, said, I'm Miss Tara O'Sullivan. I knew right then and there that she had a strength that was going to be unleashed, and I didn't want to be around it because she would challenge me. And one assignment early on that I gave the explorers was to research a case law. And with that case law, deliver it, a presentation to the rest of the explorers. I purposely assigned Tara a case law that I assigned to someone else. And I let the other person go first, just like what happened to me. And I started by speaking with you today by saying that because Tara said, man, he said everything I'm gonna say, why do we need to go now? And I looked at her and said, hey, Tara, because maybe they need to hear it again. And maybe they need to hear it the way you need to present it. And sure enough, Tara gave her presentation on Graham v. Connor. And in that presentation, she touched areas that the other explorer did not know existed. She took it deeper and related it to our field and what we're challenged with during that time. This was only her first meeting 1 month later. So with that quiet confidence, as we continued on, she became respectfully assertive. Like everybody said, tons of questions, challenged you, but she did it in a manner that wasn't cocky. She did it in a manner of being inquisitive and wanting to know more and wanting to go deeper and deeper and deeper. And I will give you an example, and I shared this the other day. On a ride along, which she used to do frequently with us, make an arrest for some dope, gonna go book the guy. She's in the car, she already has the 180 filled out. Put the guy in the car, Tara pops out. She goes, wait, we're gonna tow the car, right? I go, no, we're not towing the car. I said, we searched it, it's clear, we're not towing it. She goes, why are we not towing it? I go, I'll explain it to you later. She goes, no, I wanna know why we're not towing it. I go, no, we need to go book this guy. So right there on the side of the street, I go, Tara, I will talk to you about this later. She says, can we at least talk about it on the way to the jail? Because if it was on her mind, she wanted to get it solved. Thank you, Kelly, for that. And I explained to Tara. I said, this is Martinez. It's not LA. It's not Oakland, it's not Sacramento. We have 4 units and a watch commander. It's 11:30 at night. If we book this guy, which we're going to do because he needs to go, and we tie another guy up on the car towing it, we're down to 2 units and a watch commander. Does that make sense? And she agreed, but she also had her last word in, but his car really needed to be towed. We get to the jail. I had not told Tara that you had to be 18 to actually go in. So we get into the jail, I said, okay, hang out here with the car. That didn't go over well. And I explained to Tara, you have to be 18 to go into the jail. She goes, that's a stupid rule. I go, well, if we were in juvenile hall, I could book you in there, you can go there. So that was really good. So when she became 18, she was excited about going into the jail. Tara had her mom's fire, her mom's commitment to overall health and fitness, which you've heard everything, I'm not even gonna touch that. She had her dad's attention to detail and his passion and care for others from both of them. I saw Tara this past week manifest through both of you. As people would come, Kelly would greet them warmly, tell a joke, and even threaten them if they wore this on their shoulders. That was Tara. I saw Dennis making sure everyone is okay, grabbing the little details of things. What about her shield? What about the cousins over here? What about this? What about that? And I would constantly remind Dennis, along with Captain Brown, let's worry about the family. You take care of your family. You take care of your family. We have everything else. But Tara was there. Even when we left the hospital. When we left the hospital, many of you were there. When we left that hospital, we lined up for the procession. You can hear people sobbing, taking deep breaths, and out of nowhere, somebody's car alarm chirps 3 times. And in stereo, several people said, "That's Tara." Basically saying, "Look what I got y'all doing," throwing her hands up. That was Tara for you, nonstop. And I spoke to Kelly about that briefly the next day. She goes, "I know exactly what you're gonna say." Tara, just like in the academy, so you guys got the academy and all this, I got it early on. It was wonderful. So let me just backtrack just a little bit. As a father, 2 daughters and a younger son, my daughters are just under Tara's age. As a parent, I always say my parenting style has been this: cop, coach, and counselor, the 3 C's. When your children are young, you're that cop. Don't do this, you're gonna get in trouble. If I need to ask you that again, you're gonna go on timeout. Well, I didn't put them on timeout, there was usually a beat down coming. But you're gonna go on timeout. Go ahead, do that, watch what happens. And as they get older, you become their coach through their teen years. They have some good foundational skills. Now they're on the field to play. Let them make their own moves. Learn from their own mistakes, just guide them a little bit. Give them the playbook. And then they get to the point of counselor, where you sit across from your child and you have an adult conversation about their life and the direction. I was fortunate to meet Tara in the coach phase. I'm glad I didn't meet her in the cop phase, but the coach phase. So I was able to provide some of that coaching to her. How to tone it down a little bit. I explained to her she was a natural leader. And she goes, "Yeah, I want to be a leader. I want to be a captain. I might want to be chief." I go, "No, you're a natural leader." She goes, "I know." Okay, you don't hear me. There are 2 kinds of leaders out there, people. Many of you know it. Those by position and those by power. Those by position are appointed to be leaders. Your chiefs, your sergeants, your supervisors, they're appointed. They're given authority to do things. You may not like them. And you will go to the person and say, another person say, "Hey, they're asking me to do this. What do you think?" That person you went to is that leader by power. That leader that walks the walk, talks the talk. And they don't need to have that appointed position. That was Tara. 100%. All day, every day. So naturally, Tara became one of my squad sergeants. As my squad sergeant, I never had to worry about anything with Tara. There was an event coming up, and I said, "Hey, we have this event coming up. I'll need some explorers out there." Tara'd be on it. And within 48 hours, she would tell me how many explorers are gonna show up. She would let me know which ones were not showing up and why, and what conversation she had with them to correct any future actions like that. That was Tara. Her decision-making skills at that age were just great. Just great. She knew what to handle at her level, and she knew what to escalate. I rarely had to have a conversation with her where I said, "You should have brought that to me." Never, hardly ever had that conversation. She would put somebody on standby and say, "I need to talk to Ferrer." And then we'd discuss it, and I'd say, "What do you think your course of action is, Tara?" Now, I would look for the Dennis answer, but chances are I would get the Kelly answer. Can't we just choke them out? Okay. Tara just wanted to be involved. anything law enforcement, she wanted to be involved. ABC grants, she wanted to do the shoulder taps. She wanted to do the decoys. DUI checkpoints, she wanted to be out there. We have an event called Mini Motorland, where all the little kids bring out their powered vehicles and they drive around the park. She was so great at interacting with people of all ages, all backgrounds, that it was unparalleled to any other explorer that we had at that time. Now, when we had the Mini Motorland, there was also a position of a judge that the explorer had to play. So if somebody ran a stop sign out there in their little Barbie Jeep, they'd get waved over to the side, they'd get a ticket, and they'd have to see the judge. They didn't know they'd get a lollipop after they see the judge, but they were scared to see the judge. Tara didn't want to be the judge because she didn't want to make the kids feel sad. But then in her next breath, she would say, but they need to learn to respect the rules. So that was always a tough one for her to do. So she'd play both roles, and then she'd say what she had to say and immediately give that lollipop and give that child a hug. On the ABC grants, Tara. She would get upset if a store would not sell her alcohol. I'm like, Tara, that's the goal. That means we've educated them. Yeah, but nobody sold me anything. And that makes me happy. Shoulder taps, we'd always get shoulder taps. She'd get people to buy alcohol and shoulder taps. You're gonna find those in every city. But if it was a decoy, she goes, can we turn it into a shoulder tap now? Because nobody's selling me anything. But she always wanted to be involved. She always wanted to know each step, and she wanted to be a part of the outcome. So when am I gonna go to court on this shoulder tap? You may never go to court on this shoulder tap. They may plea out. They're basically gonna get a fine, or it's just not gonna get filed. End of story. Let's be real. We're police officers, right? Okay? So I talked about her interactions. High school. I'm not gonna go deep into high school. She calls me frequently about different things going on through her high school years, proms, et cetera, et cetera. One of the things that stands out was after high school. She's a minute out of high school, and she gets called to play in the alumni soccer game because she was a pretty good soccer player back there at College Park. Tara. Her biggest concern is, I hope my cleats still fit. So I listened to that for about a week and a half. And I'm like, can you just go home and try them on? So this day of the soccer game comes, you're gonna be there, right? You're gonna be there. Yes, I'll be there, I promise, I'll be there. It's raining. I'm out there in the parking lot watching her play, standing by my car, just trying to stay dry, but she's waving me down. And she is tenacious out there, because one of the last things she said is, I'm gonna show these high school girls what it's like to play. And I'm like, you're just a minute out of high school yourself, young lady. Okay? So she gets down there, and it's obvious that, yeah, the alumni team wasn't doing too well. And you can see Tara's whole demeanor change to, I'm just having fun now. She wanted to slide on the turf in the rain. She wanted to challenge somebody in a puddle, for the ball. She wanted to have that type of fun. She wanted to be that little girl out there playing. Now with Tara, everything comes a lesson for me. So after the game, she goes, man, I really thought we would have won that. I'm like, Tara, let's break it down. She goes, they're high school kids. I go, again, you're a minute out of high school, still. And I go, how often have you played with these women? I think I've only played with one of them. Some of them graduated way before me. Oh, okay. How often are those high school girls playing together? They've been together for like 2 seasons now. Do I need to go further, Tara? No, you're right. You're right, I get it. It's a team effort. You have never worked together with these girls as a team. It's the same thing as on the streets. We are a team. There is no I in team. We do it together. So that was another learning lesson for her. So I'm gonna fast forward to college. She's coming to Sac State. We'll Sac JC first. You age out at 21 for our Explorer program. Tara wasn't 21. I'm like, Tara, you are moving to Sacramento. Turn in your gear, please. Nope. What do you mean, nope? No, I'm not turning in. I'm only going to Sac. Tara, turn in your badge, turn in your gear. You've served us well. I'll write you your letter of recommendation you've been wanting, et cetera, et cetera. I'm not turning it in. Why? Because there's breaks. I'm only in SAC. I'm coming home like every other weekend, all right? And then in the summers. So I can still come out and help you guys. I can still come out and work with you guys. I can still do ride-alongs. I'm like, Tara, you can do ride-alongs whenever you want. When you come home, that's for friends and family. Okay. Breaks from college is for friends and family. It's not to come out here and play police, but that's what Tara wanted to do. So every time she came home, every time, she would give me a call. Hey, I'll be in town. I'm going to be at my parents' house. We're going to do this. We're going to do that, blah, blah. I'm going to see my grandpa, this, that, and the other. But I want to ride on this day. I'm like, okay, Tara, let's go. And I finally got to the point where I said, turn in your uniform. I will hold it in the office, but just come out and do a ride-along. Enjoy it. Enjoy watching us do the work and trying to be a part of the work. Learn from us. Learn from us. We're going to jump to the pre-academy. I get the phone call for that one too. Sac State is combined with here and we can do this pre-academy thing, yada, yada, or should I just go straight to the academy and just move on? I'm big on education. I spoke to Tara and I said, I'm sure your parents told you the same thing. Get your degree. The academy is going nowhere. It's there before you were born, it'll be there after you leave. Get your education, because you're gonna regret it later when you're working the job and you have to go to school while you're working. Get your degree and you'll be an administrator before you're 43, I promise you. So she went forward with that, and the next question was, well, my knee, she had a couple of injuries, a knee injury and a wrist injury, and she didn't know how to present that. And I said, you present it honestly. It's a pre-academy. You present it honestly. It's not like they're gonna buy your injury. No, they wanna see what you're made of, and I wanna see that you can get through this, because it's just an injury, and we all have them. So she did the pre-academy. It created some challenges for her, but she successfully did it. Fast forward to completing that and going on to be a CSO before the academy starts. I get constant calls from Tara, constant. Okay, now she's calling me Fred, by the way. Okay, Fred, I remember we talked about retirement. You told me this, that, what do I need to know? I'm like, Tara, max out your retirement. Start doing it now. She goes, well, why do I want to do that? I said, you can live a better life later. And she goes, well, how do I do that? So she talked to me about her plan. And she goes, man, it's a lot of money, though. I go, it's CSO money. And then I said, let me back up. Up until now, you've been a starving student pretty much, right? She goes, yeah. I go, so if you max out the percentages that are there, will you still have more money? She goes, yeah. It's a no-brainer. So we got her moving on towards her retirement, and I told her, you're gonna thank me in 25 years. Sadly, that time's not gonna come. But she has thanked me and blessed me for letting me be a part of her life and for trusting me and help guide some of her decisions. And I'll be forever grateful for that. But I'm not done. She came home for Easter. Yellow dress, I never forget it. I'm in town. Okay, coffee, what, dear? Now let's go have a beer. Yeah, oh, my baby girl's grown up now. I forgot. Well, I'm like, no, we're getting ready to do stuff. We just got back from church, so she came by. For some reason, we were in the garage, and she's looking at the motorcycles. I have a Harley. My wife has a SV650, a Rice Rocket, a little Suzuki. And Tara's like, hey, those are nice bikes. I go, yeah, you want to buy my wife's? She goes, yeah. I laugh it off. She goes, no, seriously. I go, no, Tara, no. And she goes, you know I took that motorcycle safety course. I go, yeah. She goes, well, I just took it again. I'm like, why'd you take it twice? She goes, it was a while ago that I took it, and I wanted to recap on it, and I wanted to do better than I did the first time, even though I passed it. And she was serious about buying my wife's bike. And I looked at my wife and said, we need to talk about this, and Tara, we'll get back to you. Later that evening, Tara's calling me. Did you guys talk about it? And we talked about it a little bit, and because Tara is like a daughter to us, we just wouldn't be able to live with ourselves if something happened on that bike. So I said, let me do the next best thing. I get in touch with Kelly. I go, hey, Kelly, your daughter's looking to buy her motorcycle. She wants to buy our motorcycle, blah, 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 blah. Kelly's like, I go, if you say no, it's a done deal. You and Dennis say no, it's a done deal. No go. Kelly's response is, Kelly, at age 20-something, is, Tara's gonna do what Tara's gonna do. We can't stop her. I go, if that's the case, at least I know that I'll put some conditions on it, full leathers, all that good stuff. And at least I know she's getting a really good deal. She'll probably have to do a tune-up maintenance, and it's a really good bike. It's never been laid down or anything like that. It basically sat in a garage as a garage trophy, is what it turned out to be. So she got the bike, I put the conditions down, the leathers and stuff she didn't have to worry about because my wife went to the closet and said, oh, here, take my leather jacket, take this, I have no need for all this anymore. And then she walked out with a pair of Converse, too. I'm like, how's that work? You get ride gear and Converse. You gotta get insurance, you gotta finish the academy, and small rides only in parking lots. I promise I'll do it. And she did. For the most part, she did. About just less than a month ago, I get a picture of the brake lever on the motorcycle. She goes, I dropped the bike. I go, are you okay? She goes, I was just kind of leaning and kind of falling because I'd called her by this point, and I'm like, Tara. I've done that a lot with her. And she goes, I know, but I didn't get hurt, and it's just a brake lever. Everything's gonna be fine. I'm like, off the bike until you get through training. Stay off of it, please. She said, okay, I will. So then we started talking about training. She's like, hey, I need some advice. Like I said, we moved to that counselor phase. There's some people telling me I should probably phase out and move on to the next phase. What do you think? I go, have you learned everything you needed to learn in this phase? She goes, a lot of people think so. I go, I didn't ask a lot of people. So what did I tell you from day one, Tara? Learn as much as you can from as many as you can. Never stop learning. The career will be there. If it takes an extra 2 weeks, you get 2 weeks more knowledge. And excuse me, I don't believe you have any on your staff, sir, but I said, if it takes 2 weeks and you're with a slug that doesn't like to do anything but make sure he gets to his B's and codes on time, that's fine, because he'll still share stories that could help your career. And she goes, okay, but you need to make the decision for yourself. And so she made her decision. I keep picturing in my mind the graduation ceremony, sitting in the back. And God bless you, Dennis. Dennis is trying to pin her badge on her. Never pinned a badge on before. Tara has completed this chapter of her life, and she's anxious to go. And this is what I see. Dennis is trying to put the badge on, and Tara's like, come on, what are you, nervous? Get it on. I'm like, oh, that poor guy. And I gave her a hard time about that. I could go on and on. You've heard it all. She strived to be the best at everything. She called me when she wasn't the top shot of the class, and how many points she missed it by, okay? She would call me or FaceTime me or put me on speakerphone when she was having study groups. I met with some of her classmates last night, and they go, oh, you're the one she was calling, when they would have a disagreement or kind of stuck somewhere. And then we'd had a lot of private conversations. Like, Dennis, she enjoyed the trip that you took her on. She enjoyed it immensely. And that summer she interned at your office, she was proud. She was extremely proud. She came to me and said, I'm gonna be interning at my dad's office. How should I dress? And we talked about what her wardrobe was and what she might need to go buy, because she wanted you to be proud of her. She knew you were proud, but she wanted to represent you because you stood out in her eyes like that. And Kelly, the fierceness, none other than you. None other than you. And I crack up because not only is she fierce, she's so comedic. There is nothing like having Krista and Tara home doing one of their mom's workouts with them. It is Comedy Central, usually led by Tara. You know, she's trying to teach them how to, and just the customized workouts that she does, I'm telling you, you could probably win some money on America's Funniest Video watching these three go at it. And Krista, she loved you dearly. Every time you came home, that would be one of the only times she would slow down her explorer career, was to spend time with you, my sister's home. And Justin, you walked in with her that first day. I'll never forget that. And it wasn't for you, but she still loves you something fierce and always wanted to keep an eye on you, even when she moved to SAC. So keep an eye on Justin for me. You know, there were times late at night when you would push the family curfew, and she'd call me because she knew I was working the weekend grave crew. And she would say, hey, Justin's out. Do you think you might be? Yeah, I'll go find him. I'll bring him home. I'll bring him home. She loved you all. And her pictures are just the greatest that she would send me from the academy, from college. And I would look at her and say, you're in the academy, why do you have your cell phone out? You should be learning. And some of her videos, I'm not gonna say any names, but for a few weeks ago, she sent me a picture almost every day. And said, every day at this time, we come to this building for this particular officer to use the bathroom. And just take the picture, I'm like, oh, it's potty break time again? So that was that. I just want to close. I want to remember Tara how I remembered her. That's why I didn't go in to see her. Because I want to remember the joy. I've seen too many of those faces. I want to remember the faces that livened my heart. And that's why. And I want to close just by saying thank you to SAC PD for taking care of this family. You guys have done a stellar job from when I received that call at 7 p.m. last week through now and beyond. Outstanding. This business, no matter what the incident is, you're gonna see some backlash, no matter how small or how big. It's the nature of the beast, but it's also the nature of the leech. Don't let that negative leech suck out the joy that Tara brought to this department. Don't let it happen. And to all my brothers in blue, they beat us up out there a lot. Let's stand together with SAC PD.